Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, guys. We continue our conversation on everything that's happening in agriculture here on the island of Tobago with Assemblyman Natisha Charles Pantin. And as we went on the break, we saw a few comments coming in about that Tobago Agricultural Research Institute and recommendations to align the efforts of the institute with recognized universities. Are there any plans in the making to do that?
Oh, definitely. So we had a meeting, and that meeting would have been posted on the division's page with UTT. And that meeting actually was the wrap-up meeting of partnering with the University of Trinidad and Tobago. So you would have students doing their master's and PhD. They're doing their completing the final term, the final thesis as well at the Tobago Agricultural Research Institute, formerly known as TARI. So yes, we are partnering with the universities. Of course, we're looking at accreditation and all of that. So we are moving ahead to form a proper institute, right? A recognized institute. And of course, that institute will be linked with all the demonstration centers. And just in case you're wondering what is a demonstration center, that is Hope Farm, Blemin, right? Or Louisdor, all the stations that you see with that sign that we're going to be placing on the stations called TARI participative units. So that means that those stations would be linked to the institute. And when the students from the Eastern Caribbean Institute of Agriculture and Forestry in Trinidad or any other institute across the world, their students have to do any final years or anything, they can do it at TARI, and they would be doing practicals at these stations. So you call them demonstration centers. Yeah?
Excellent. And before we went to the break, you were stressing how important it is for stakeholders, farmers, to be OPR compliant.
Correct. So this new procurement regulation, it is mind-boggling because people meet you on the street, you're talking in the transport, to and from places, people come into the division, they're talking about procurement. Why can't I get through? Why can't this entire thing, it is new to everyone, not only you, everybody, the technical staff. Procurement, you've seen the Chief Secretary trying to roll out, different training exercises for the procurement departments. So it is new for everyone. When the law came into effect, right, the procurement departments, they had to find, a way how to learn the law because you don't want to be non-compliant, and also how to accommodate our stakeholders in the Tobago space. And I must say that once you are spending state funds, you have to. It is not Mrs. Pantin saying that, Mrs. Pantin did not implement the Procurement Act. Once you are spending state funds, you must be registered with procurement. So it is not a matter of who you know anymore, right? That was the politics of old, right? Central government, they implemented the procurement law, and the Tobago House of Assembly, we naturally have to adhere. So if you are a farmer and you believe that things are being delayed or things are taking long, or why isn't this getting fixed quickly, it is because the procurement department, they have to follow the rules, the guidelines, right? And of course, if they don't, the penalty is very hefty. So in order to protect themselves, the administrators have to protect themselves. They would be, sticking to the rules. Yeah, because nobody wants to lose their jobs over this issue. So once you just be mindful that once you're spending state funds, you must be registered with OPR, right? You must become a registered entity. So, and let's look at the positive of it. The positive is, let's say you're going into BDU, for example, for a loan or a grant, right? Part of the requirement, you must be a registered entity, or you must have a farmer's badge, right? And, it gives you access, to a lot of incentives. So it is not a punishment coming from the Tobago House of Assembly at all, right? We are just complying with the law.
Understood. Let's touch a bit on TADCO as we round up our discussion this morning. The last thing we saw was an issue in regards to storage conditions down there. Tell us what has been done so far as you deal with these concerns of the public where the cold storage units is concerned.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't just limit it to the cold storage. So let us talk about the assets of TADCO, right? And some of the assets, it's hard to follow if you don't have documentation. So in getting in, the board, the company, a lot of the documents went missing. So if you are starting from anywhere, even if you're a student and you lose your notes, it's difficult to follow, right? From past lectures or anything. So just imagine how difficult it is to get a company with no material at all, right? You basically have to start from scratch. And now you inherit a lot of assets that are run down, right, basically. So from time to time, you would have issues popping up. And of course, TADCO has not had a major injection of funds. You could imagine if a division only has less than 4 million in terms of development, right, for development, how much I can give to TADCO. I can't give TADCO anything. So they have not had a major injection, right? And then you have a myriad of issues. You have to treat with tractor pool. You have to treat with people being owed back, over time from years ago. You have so many things to manage. And this division, if you don't pay the overtime and it's backed up from so many years, remember you have people taking care of animals over the weekend. It's not that you could say, well, okay, we're going to let the animals and them feed themselves over the weekend. You can't do that. This division doesn't sleep. People have to work all the time. So we have to manage with a little bit of funding different aspects of the division. So it's not only food security, you have food security, you have forestry, you have fisheries. Yeah. So we have so many areas that we have to manage, marketing, research. So TADCO has not had a major injection. We are working very hard to get an injection into TADCO so that some of the issues that they're facing, they wouldn't face it. So it would be remiss of me not to say that managing TADCO would be difficult without money. And if we have to look at bringing this company into a profitable one, we definitely have to rethink how it is being managed. So coming to the cold storage, what usually happens, if you have a cold storage, you don't just bring your goods and it enters into the cold storage because it would change the temperature inside the cold storage. So you have something called the blast freeze. You have to blast freeze the goods first and then they go into the cold storage. So what had happened was something it stopped working. And the procurement procedure, it took a while. And of course, the part wasn't 25 cents. It was over $200,000, that one part. So you could understand the difficulties, but I'll tell you something. In prioritizing, we have prioritized fixing a lot of the issues that TADCO has, right? We're just waiting on the funds to do so. So it is not an individual problem. It is a problem of depreciation in terms of the assets that we inherited. 2.5 years to achieve what people think we could achieve is insufficient time, given that we have nothing, right? And it would be unfair to have inherit a company, no documents, depreciated, severely depreciated infrastructure, to expect more than we're getting. I have to say that so far, they have been doing an excellent job in managing their finances, ensuring that the workers getting paid first and foremost, and ensuring that we keep up with the demands in the best way that we can. TADCO has also been training the stakeholders on how to register with the OPR so that we can be compliant with the law. So if we have delays in terms of anything, just know that the process is taking place so that we can become compliant and nobody makes a jail. Yeah? So I am really happy for what they have been doing. It's a company that has been in the media forever. And I always say nobody throws a stone at a tree that has no fruit. We have so many companies in the space trying, and TADCO is the one always in the media. But I can understand. And when we sign up for this job, trust me, Miss Pantin, I sure I would have aged 5 years in 2 years, 2.5 years, because it's a division that never rests, right? So, and my staff would tell you, I come to work as a staff, right? They said that's extraordinary. They've never seen a secretary going to work every day, right? So I know that I have been doing my best. Anything else other than that, they might need another Mrs. Pantin and Mr. Tate.
Understood.
Yes.
So we want to thank you for coming on this morning and giving us an update on everything that's happening in agriculture.
Yes.
So we want to thank you again. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and for making Tobago Updates the #1 broadcast station here on the island of Tobago. We want to thank you and hope you have a great day.